Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor. We have a market pullback. I'm looking at coinpaprika.com, who is one of my sponsors. Check it out. Go down. We've got Ethereum. Ethereum's been getting crushed ever since the merge. XRP was up the most over the last 48 hours, and so it's having a little pullback. It's at 35 cents. So we're in the negative today, which for me, I haven't looked, but it depends. I got to look at my situation, see if I have anything available to buy dips. I want to remind something I don't remind you enough of. If you look at this on Coin Paprika, they have an API. You can, if you're a developer, these guys have supposedly one of the best feeds you can get of all the cryptocurrency information. And so if you're a developer, or you're running a website or something like that, here's some of the companies these guys have a feed on, and they show their plans right here. They have plans, the monthly plan if you wanted to get the API, and they provided me a discount code for this. If you look in the top of the description of this video, I'll put the discount code. I think it was 5%. It was 5 or 10%. I think it was 5. Don't quote me. Just look in the top of the description. If you click on that link and then use the coupon code, you can get a discount on their API if that's your thing. Okay, now I wanted to show you this before we get going. This is from Lebanon. Watch what's going on over there. There's a little bit of music on this. I may talk a little bit.
Banks across Lebanon will close for 3 days next week. Here's why. Because they're being held up by depositors who want to take out their own money. Lebanese have been blocked from accessing their funds since the onset of the financial crisis in 2019. And since then, the currency has lost well over 90% of its value. People making money in Lebanese pounds rather than fresh dollars have completely lost purchasing power. Public sector workers now don't make enough to survive, and they can't take out their savings due to capital controls. Earlier this week, 2 separate incidents saw armed depositors storm banks across the country and demand access to their funds.
They're holding up the banks to get their own freaking money, folks. Now, you just look around you at how shaky things are getting, and this is part of the reason Glint is one of my sponsors, because this is separate from a bank account. You've got a Glint account. It's separate. So when you open a Glint account, you can buy physical. You're buying gold, okay, and it's stored in Zurich in the vault under the airport, okay, and then you're able to use your Glint debit MasterCard to actually spend the gold. So you can go to a restaurant and it shows you how many grams of gold that you spent on your meal. Pretty groundbreaking. And so what I'm doing is I'm buying physical gold, and I'm buying this because if things really hit the fan, it's a hedge for me. I thought this tweet was funny because it's like, well, duh. Mr. Whale breaking, Ripple aims for very big win against SEC. Well, I could have told you that when they dropped the lawsuit. I thought that tweet was kind of funny. But all right, Jeremy Hogan did his long-awaited video last night and dropped it about the motions, the recent motions by Ripple and by for summary judgment by Ripple and by the SEC. And Riz XRP put the best clip out of this. Says, enough said.
Every pre-1933 Blue Sky law required that there be post-sale obligations on the promoter of the alleged security. Looking at page 19 of the brief, quote, there also can be no investment contract unless the contract includes an undertaking of post-sale obligations by the promoter to the investor. Otherwise, the contract is simply an asset sale. The Blue Sky cases rejected attempts to fit contracts without such obligations into that statutory language. So what's that mean? That means that when Ripple sold or sells XRP to you, it must have a legal obligation to you of some sort in order for there to be an investment contract and for there to be a sale of security. Let that sink in for a second. In other words, when you bought XRP, Ripple must have had a legal obligation to do something for you. But think about it.
Think about that. So to do something for you, like pay you a dividend or something like that.
Ripple decides to drop XRP altogether and use XLM instead for cross-border payments. Do you have any legal recourse? No, you don't. There would be nothing you or I could do about it. Ripple has no legal obligation to you, and that, my friends, according to blue sky laws, which interpret the U.S. securities laws, is the sale of an asset and not of a security.
Exactamundo. Now, let me show you something a lot of people may not have noticed. This is Brad Garlinghouse's Twitter feed. So if you look at his likes, okay, and then you scroll down. Well, first, he's a Kansas Jayhawk fan. He went to Kansas for undergrad. In fact, I'll tell you a funny story. I've said it before on this channel. When I met him, first time I ever met Brad Garlinghouse was in Singapore. He's walking, it was Ripple Swell. He's walking into the bar area with Michael Arrington, and Mr. B grabs Brad Garlinghouse, and he sees us, and he comes out there to introduce himself and say hello. And I said, did you ever think some redneck from Georgia would be talking about your company like this? And he says, well, I'm from Kansas. That was the first thing he ever said to me. But anyway, so scroll. If you scroll down, Brad Garlinghouse liked this tweet. This tweet is a video from cowboy.crypto, okay? And this tweet is Brad Garlinghouse basically saying the same thing Jeremy Hogan just said.
A security is something that represents ownership in a company. It gives you rights to dividends, give you rights to governance, things like that. The amount of misinformation on this one, I think, is also profound. If Ripple, the company, shut down tomorrow, the XRP ledger would continue to operate. So if XRP is a security, it's a security of what? XRP is not a security. And I think that, as time goes by, that'll become clearer. So I don't spend a lot of time worrying about that.
You seem pretty relaxed about it.
I actually am pretty relaxed about it, because I think the facts are on our side.
That's one of the things that I've been saying for a long time. It's a security of what? See, that's the problem. Let's say that the SEC somehow won. Well, then somebody's got to tell us, what do we hold? Do we hold a share of Ripple stock? I don't think so, because their equity is sold on the Link2 platform, and you can buy their equity with XRP on Link2. Think about the irony of that. So what is Gary going to then? He's going to get XRP declared a security, and then what is he going to? When we say, okay, what's it secured by? Secured by what? What are we? You said it's a security. Now tell us what it's secured by, Gary. It's a farce. This whole thing's been a farce. Now, so then John Deaton was on with Eleanor Terrett last night, and I got a couple of good John Deaton clips. Now, this clip I wanted to show to you because John Deaton, when people keep bringing things up, I lock on. And John Deaton has brought up at least 5 times that Gary Gensler has met with Vanguard, who manages Gary's wealth. Because remember, Gary Gensler is mega wealthy. See, he's mega wealthy. He doesn't have to be rich. So it's easy for him to go after all of you XRP holders and hold you up from any kind of potential wealth. That's easy for Gary because Gary is living it up in his mansion somewhere, okay? So it's easy for him to go on a video and claim that he wants to protect you when he really despises you. That's what ultimately this really equivocates to. I mean, this guy, these people, the arrogance that is involved in all of this is stunning. These are not the people. These are not the people that you grew up with, folks. These are freakazoids. These are people that don't have emotional attachments to people and don't understand people's plight, don't care. Like sociopaths, sickos. All right, and watch this. This is John Deaton keeps bringing it up, so I'll keep showing it because there's a reason he's bringing it up. I don't know what it is, but I like it.
But again, we're talking about someone who's met with his personal wealth manager 7 times since becoming chairman, but 73,000 XRP holders can't even get a low-level staffer to meet with us or talk to us. What's that tell you? Where's his priorities at? I hope one day I get to sit next to him in front of Congress and testify.
Oh, I hope I see John. I hope I live to see John Deaton sitting beside Gary Gensler in Congress, and hopefully Jay Clayton sitting there too, because Jay Clayton deserves to have to go answer for a few things too, and so does Bill Hinman. If I was running the show in Congress, all three of those guys would be up there, and I'd put John Deaton right in the middle of them just to mess with them because they deserve it. Now, then there's this. In this clip, Eleanor Terrett is talking about how she was talking to Stuart Alderoty, Ripple's general counsel, yesterday. So she's having direct conversations with him. So you're getting here what both Stuart Alderoty and John Deaton think about the potential of settlement.
Yeah, that's my speculation. I don't talk to Ripple lawyers, and I have no insight. So that's just me speculating.
Yeah, I mean, I asked the question. I said, what are the odds of a settlement at this point? And he said, I'll say what we've said since day one. The only way this case settles is if the SEC acknowledges that Ripple's distribution of XRP does not constitute an investment contract and the secondary market trading of XRP is not a security. So to me, it sounds like...
Okay. He did not say that he was against having a settlement, did not say that there wasn't a settlement, there weren't settlement talks. He just said what he would not, what he had to have in order to settle, okay?
Going all the way. And that was one of the questions actually someone posed on Twitter. They said, John, do you think that this case will drag out into 2023? And I'm guessing your answer is yes.
Yes. I mean, here's what I have to tell people. I told
so John's saying that he thinks that this will go out into 2023, and maybe he's right. But listen to what he then says, because this is where I'm at.
Always give my honest opinion, is that if I predicted that Gary Gensler is going to sue an exchange or exchanges. He's trying this land grab, right, to get all of crypto. He's now saying that the majority of cryptos are securities. How do you file suit against Ripple, claim XRP is a security, then settle with Ripple, agreeing that XRP is not a security, and then go after everyone else? You know what I mean? It's just a very, it can be done, but I just don't think it's going to happen until the SEC is faced with...
This is where I'm at, right here, this part right here.
A situation where the political damage of a loss, right, a guaranteed loss, outweighs, the potential risk of winning at summary judgment. And so if those hidden emails say stuff like, somebody makes a comment, hey, listen, if you give ETH a pass, you got to give XRP. Why not XRP? Or, there was some kind of suggestion about that. That could guarantee, Ripple success, at least on fair notice, if not, on other things as well. And so if the SEC was faced with what they view as a guaranteed loss, then maybe they're like, hey, let's see if we can settle for, 50, 100 million and call it a day and still go after others and try to, thread the needle on the optics of it all. But
so here's where I'm at. I think that John Deaton's correct in that I think the SEC has always had full intention of going as far as they could go and using this as a weapon to drag this out as long as possible. Yes, I agree with that. But I don't think, and Jungle Inc. said it this morning, he said that he still thinks there's going to be a settlement in September. Now, I don't know about September, but I'm in line with Jungle Inc. And the reason I'm in line with Jungle Inc. is because I believe that the SEC never thought that, how could you have thought? I think they never anticipated the stir that would be risen up with the ETHgate thing. I don't think they ever anticipated everybody going off on the Hinman thing. And remember, look down here. This is the list of people. Don't forget this. These are there's a lot of powerful people in this list, folks. But imagine what was done, what was said over look at the period of this. Now, I don't know what the Hinman emails, it may have just been a few emails leading up to that Ethereum free pass, but this is that the Empower Freedom of Information Act list. And I don't know what the date range is on what emails that we would see, but you have to imagine some of these people. I mean, that's Mark Andreessen from A16Z. Can you imagine some of the things that were said back and forth between these people and the SEC in this? I do not believe that we are ever going to see those emails. And I think that this thing, I think that when the time comes that the SEC knows that they have no choice but to live. Now remember, what are we going on? About a year or two since these emails were asked for? The moment that I don't know how far that could be into 2023 when they're finally forced to show them. But that's the day I believe that the SEC has to settle. And I believe that's the day the SEC knows that they have to give Stuart Alderati what he said he wants. And Ripple knows they've got to give the SEC some big settlement and everybody gets to declare a victory. That's the way I think this thing is. Because I don't think the SEC, and this is what Jungle Inc. said here.
I think eventually they will settle this out, and I'm still of the theorem it will happen by the end of this month. Just my opinion. I believe that they are not willing to lose this thing and that they don't even want to do that. I think they would like to come to some workable agreement, as does Ripple, and they would like to get those resources freed up to go after exchanges and start shaking down other areas of cryptocurrencies. We'll see it play out. You know what I mean? Everyone's got their opinion. That is mine.
So Jungle Inc. doubling down. I love it. I love people with guts. And Jungle Inc. is he's been on fire the last few months, and I love it when people stand by their convictions and they're not worried about, oh, you can't speculate like that. Oh, that's a bunch of BS. Go with your gut, go with your conviction, and stand by it. What's wrong with that? What's the worst that can happen? You're wrong. What human being has not been wrong in their life? Who cares? What's wrong with saying it? We're in the United States of America, after all, I think. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that I agree with Jungle Inc. I believe this ends in a settlement because I don't think that the SEC ever thought that they would settle. I think their intention was to go all the way because they didn't see John Deaton coming. They didn't see the XRP community, army, social media coming. I don't think how could they have seen it coming? Have you ever seen anything like this in the history of the SEC? No, you have not. I think that the people of this country are sick and tired of watching a government gone wild and watching these people, Congress, SEC, and all these government organizations that aren't held accountable for anything. They're watching all these congressmen trading, doing all kinds of legally being able to get away with insider trading that none of us would be able to get away with. Our country has gone off on the wrong path, and I think that the people are sick of it. And I think social media has tried to rein in. This has just been one little battlefield in a war of the citizens against the government. I mean, it is sick what's going on.